A woman who doesn't leave behind any personal letters. I turn to the one thing I know for certain she read, wrote, and probably worked with every single day. Her newspapers. Hello, my name is Emma Cross, and welcome to a column with Clementina. I'm a nation builder here at the Colonial Williamsburg Foundation, and you're probably a little more used to seeing me looking like this, portraying a woman named Clementina Rind, who lived here in the city. Now, in August of 1773, her husband passes away. That leaves her to carry on his printing business and care for her 4 small children. Mrs. Rind becomes the first female printer in Virginia. In the September 2nd, 1773 edition of her newspaper, only the second newspaper ever to bear her name, she publishes a letter to the public. Being now unhappily forced to enter upon business on my own account, I flatter myself those gentlemen who shall continue to oblige me with their custom will not be offended at my requesting them, in future, to be punctual in sending cash with advertisements, etc. The ardent desire I have of rendering this paper as useful and entertaining as possible urges the necessity of this request, as it must be obvious to everyone that business of so extensive a nature cannot be carried on with that spirit which is necessary without a sufficient fund to support it. Mine, in great measure, depends on the punctuality of those who favor me with their commands. Rather direct, don't you think? Printers up and down the colonies struggled with people paying not only for their advertisements, but also for their subscriptions on time. This is something that Mrs. Rind is going to continue often reminding her subscribers to do. But she goes on. May that all-ruling power, whose chastening hand has snatched from my dear infants and myself our whole dependence, make me equal to the task. An unaffected desire to please, an indefatigable attention to my business, and the assistance of persons whose abilities and attachments I can rely on, will, I hope, make me not entirely unworthy from encouragement from the public in general. This is her announcement of intent. She is going to take this paper, and she is going to make sure it succeeds. But she doesn't stop there. And from the Honorable House of Burgesses in particular, whose favor I once more take the liberty to solicit, and in whose generous breast it lies to bestow happiness and plenty on my orphaned family, if they find me capable of being their servant. Cheered by that pleasing hope, I will try to support with fortitude the painful sensation of uncertainty, by a firm reliance on that candor and generosity which have ever been the characteristic of that honorable body. I am, with great respect, the public's most faithful and most obedient, Clementina Rind. It's direct. Yet with an overlay of, it's not subservience, it's deference. Her husband had a government contract, you see, and with his death, that contract becomes a little uncertain. And here she is publicly saying that these gentlemen have the power to help me succeed or fail in their hands. It's a pretty clever move. This is a woman filled with determination who is also extremely savvy in the use of both her wording but also her newspaper. This September 2nd edition is actually 2 pages longer than usual. Now, is it 6 pages because she had a lot more to print? Maybe. Is it because she wanted her readers to think that she was very capable of putting out a really decent newspaper? Maybe. That is what is so wonderful and so incredibly frustrating about history. But there is one thing I know for certain, and that is that her actions after her husband's death are very clear. an unaffected desire to please, an indefatigable attention to my business. Reading these papers, her papers, gives us a window to be able to look at not only her life, but others' lives. And so I hope you continue to join me as we look at more columns with Clementina. Until then, friends, be safe and keep reading.